Yeah.
I told these guys whatever they want to do.
So I was thinking that, I mean, it's not
WH23GOG or 7G6G.
My 264 Furies.
Yeah.
The guy says, well, one of them long great. I told the guy, says, well, what's she? Yeah. And so I go, the beige with the title of the agreement.
Right.
So I went out there to find her, and apparently, several years before that, some guy showed up and
I want to take a picture.
here, hold that.
We'll get your big hand out of it.
But no, they got in the truck and disappeared. So.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just live in it.
Are you live already?
Yeah. Sorry.
The show car.
You got it. I seen it and I said, me first. No, that's good. Fixing big sit.
I moved in.
My stepdad has one, and it rocks. And it's really cool.
I got a buddy
What?
named Paul People hogging the damn thing.
I got the music fixing to play. Are you connected to the internet here?
Right?
Huh? Are you connected to the internet here? It keeps saying try reconnect.
Mask down.
Why? Because it's so big, you got to crawl out of it. You wanted to leave?
Dennis?
Yes, ma'am.
Go by himself.
Way, yeah.
Here we go. Wait a minute.
The picture I seen on that computer, he looked like Israel. Marcus did.
Right?
A little more hair on it. How you doing, man? Yeah.
Listen in. His sister's on here. He's going to try to contact her. Do Facebook Live so that it'll tag him and play on his Facebook page. So that his family and
I just never have.
Katrina with a K.
They used to throw your cat when you was a kid before we started it. They used to have a girlfriend.
I'm connected.
Up there
I'm tagged on his.
Get on. Can you get on Bob's?
Had the incumbents about everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I thought this about. I don't do this stuff. This place here. I'm lucky to work my phone. If I'm inside, I always got a hand crank on it, okay? About 3 years ago,
It's just here. I was a spring chicken a year ago. When they asked somebody to go to
Are we ready?
Trish, you can grab the mic and just push.
Tompkins, Herbert, Washington, and various aunts and cousins. If anybody, has stories or memories to share, that's what we're here for. This is nothing formal. You got something to say, you can say it from your seat, however you want to do it. We spent a lot of time cooped up in a little room together in here. Lots of joking, lots of caring, some arguments, and it was all good. We all loved each other. I know Trish has a pretty funny story she's gonna share about him and his dad. And carrying on. He just had a big heart, man. He loved a lot, he cared a lot, he shared a lot. He would always bring the Hot Wheels up here, one for his desk, one for Trish's desk, one for Trish's assistant. Every day, I don't know how many Hot Wheels that man had, but he never brought the same one twice. At least, yeah. Yeah, he'd bring them and he'd let Trish pick out her favorite for the day. Then he'd take them home and bring new ones the next day. Kind of a little deal they had together. Alright, I'll get out the road and let people start sharing.
On the continue Hot Wheels, we bought a new truck in 2014, and I guarantee you it wasn't a week that he didn't have a replica Hot Wheels that he brought to me and said, you just have to have this. Same color, make, model, everything. It was the exact replica of our pickup. I still have that. It's still in the package. He chewed me up and down the wall for not opening that package. But I told him, I said, I'm not going to open this one, Bob. This one's just going to stay the way it is. And then we had our first grandson in 2015. And he got a little bit older, and he brought me 5 Hot Wheels, still in the package. And I said, well, I'll put these up, and I'll put them as keepsakes. And when they get about 25, I'll let them have them, and they can start their collection. And he, what, you lost your mind? Well, Hot Wheels were meant to play with. You let the babies open those Hot Wheels, and you play with them. And sure enough, we had a second grandson in 2016, and he did the same. So then he was on me. You're letting them play with the Hot Wheels, right? Because they're meant to be played with. So periodically, as the boys would get older, I'd send him pictures. I promised Bob, I'm letting them play with them. He has started my grandsons on one of the worst Hot Wheel issues. I've got them all over my house at this point. Because it doesn't matter, we're shopping at Walmart and they see one with big bouncy tires or whatever, it's their favorite color and they've got to have Hot Wheels. And we've got tubs of Hot Wheels at this point. So he's already broken my grandchildren and they're 5 and 3. But it made his day when I would send them pictures of them just playing outside in the dirt with their Hot Wheels because they were actually playing. Probably one of my favorite memories of Bob was we would do free music Fridays up here during slow season, where we'd go on YouTube while we were filing, and somebody picked a song that you wanted to listen to, and we would listen to that music during the day. And he would pick classic rock and roll until one time he chose Back That Ass Up by Juvenile, which is a rap song. And he sat there and he danced to it while he sung every word. And I was confused.
Right?
Excuse me, you know that song?
You swap brains or something?
He absolutely loved that song, and he would sit there and he would just really get into it. And I was, okay, but that's all right, and I'll never forget that because he cracked me up, and I was very unexpected, very, very unexpected. We had a lot of good times. We had a lot of good times.
I've known Bob for not as long as Bill, but he's more cursed than I am. But he's a friend. He's always going to be there, you know. Even if he's not here, he's still here. That's how I feel. But and he can make you so damn mad. You just want to just pick him up, shake him, but you couldn't pick him up. But
Tried a couple times.
we tried a couple of times, and over at Bobby's house one night, God, 400 years ago, JJ and Bob, yeah, we were the Chapettes, and we were background singers for this. Oh God, we were terrible. Oh, so
That's what I say. It's fun.
yeah, we had so much fun doing that stuff. It's fun to get in the cars, hanging out, and run around the salvage yards and just doing crap. And I swear to God, he put away more nuggets than anybody I ever seen in my life. But he's just a good man. I love him to death, you know. Still do. But just like I said, he frustrates you no end. But then you look at him and go, "Oh, that's Bob. That's whatever, you know." So that's about all I got to say. Other than, you know, because there's 10 million stories. When we go out there to the pit, we go do something out there in the back. We come back. We just don't go back to get him.
Yeah.
Now pretty soon you hear him coming up cussing. You mother.
Yeah,
That's not you, man. But yeah, we just had too much fun.
Sometimes way too.
Yeah. He and Bill and I went on a 2 or 3 day salvage yard tour of Oklahoma. 2 day? Yeah. And, oh Lord have mercy. The junk we looked at, wish we had, no way to bring home.
Always keys.
Yeah. We just had too much fun. I mean, what did we put? 200 or 300 miles? Bill, 200 or 300 miles?
St. Louis, Oklahoma.
You know, we went down there, then we went to Pink there, and then we ended up in Tulsa area. Then tried to go through Hobbs, and it was closed. And yeah, we had a great time. I think that's when Carrie was getting that shadow from you. That's what we drove. The shadow you used to have. That's what we drove. You know what we said? Just you could always, you know, it was just fun. He just drive you nuts sometimes, but what the hell?
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yep.
First time I ever met him, I had called to see what this Mopar Club deal was all about. It was on ad on TV. They said, "Well, come over to Aaron."
She's probably not getting it because I'm not her friend on Facebook.
We'll talk to you about it. Okay, so I get
It's
there.
on mine.
He's the first person that walks up to me.
That's
I'm
what she's
standing
seeing.
beside this rusted out 71.
Yeah, we had to take it off her. She wouldn't get internet, so it's on mine.
Okay.
We're recording it,
Looks
and
like
I'll
it's-
share it.
Yeah.
There was nowhere to stick the duct tape.
Right.
We couldn't even duct tape that car together, but it ran like a sewing machine. Like I said, he's the first one that walked up to me, and then this one walked up right beside him. And that's been, what, 300 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. I do want to apologize to everybody for his politics, because it's my fault. Because we were when we were both working at Boyd Chevrolet. We went to lunch one day. For some reason, my radio just happened to be on KTOK. Rush Limbaugh was on.
There you go.
And I reach over to turn it off because we're talking. He goes, "What's that?" I don't know, some noise to me, whatever. He listens to the entire hour while we're sitting there eating chicken. He's eating chicken nuggets and listening to Rush Limbaugh ever since.
So thanks a lot.
Yeah, how much we had to deal with that.
Because I'm starting to say
I do
some.
apologize to each and every one of you that had to work with him. Because that is my fault. Because before then, the political to him was, like I said, which dipping sauce to use on his chicken nuggets. Other
Right.
than
That was a major discussion in some ways.
but other than that, you know.
I'll voice it for pretty much everybody, or like about maybe 30 years too late on that phone.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Just one more thing we can blame you for.
I don't know.
I have been blamed for more. I've been blamed for less.
I don't know. I felt that was one of his enduring qualities myself.
No, that was well, yeah, there is that.
Remember when we had
The Trostler Park show.
Yep.
He had learned kind of, 3 or 4 of us kind of all took turns DJing that day. Now, for the entire show was like 1 month of entirely us all pulling each other's hair out, hard work, to put on that 1 8-hour show. We all took like a turn. Bob's sound system was set up out there. Took turns spinning records, put tapes in, whatever. He had learned about a week before. I don't know if any of you remember the show that used to be on HBO called Not Necessarily the News. He had learned that the theme song from that show was an Eric Clapton song off 461 Ocean Boulevard called Motherless Children. He played it, I think, 10 times in a row until one of us had to finally just go over, and I think that's one time we tried to bodily pick him up, remove him from the DJ spot. And then he would walk up there, "Hey, you ever play that again? Play that again?" No. No! And at one time I threatened to break the record. You know how hard it is to break vinyl?
Put it under your seat.
At that
There you go.
point,
There you
was
go.
that.
There you go.
Millions. A lot of guys that didn't know him back in the day, I'm going to steal one from Bob here. Don't know how Booker got his nickname, Booker. Before then, we just all knew him as Bob. One day, Bobby and Booker, Bob at the time, were over at Bobby's house working, I think they're working on the Hemi car or something, out in the garage. And me and PL, we'd come from somewhere, just come walking in. And of course, PL walks out the garage door and looks out there and goes, "Well, if it ain't Bobby G and Booker T." And it stuck for some reason. He was Booker from then on. There's times I wanted to choke him. There's times I wanted to kiss him.
He had to have one of the biggest hearts.
Yeah, you know.
And that's where he got the nickname Bound and Determined Tub.
Bound and determined tub.
And even on my mixer, I had a knob to turn there that had tub adjust written under it. Booker started acting up when he turned the knob. Booker just adjusted.
I thought of one earlier today that you probably forgot about. You guys remember back there in the mid-'80s, they had this doll. It was called the My Buddy doll.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It became the Booker doll because it looked just like him.
Oh my goodness.
We teased him all the time, but he could give it back just as good. Every now and then he'd rip off a good one.
Yeah.
He'd give it back just as good, though. But he knew we loved him.
He also
Despite
loved Coke
himself.
very much.
Oh yeah, Coke Kelly.
Every time I would meet him at my door, he'd come over to my house. He would go right past me down the hallway to the refrigerator and get a Coke before he even said hi. It's like I'd open the door and zoom. So one time I said, "Booker, stop! You can't get to my house without going by a convenience store."
There you go.
But next time, he come up right past me to the refrigerator.
Well, your Coke tasted better.
There you go. Yeah, free, yeah.
Always tastes better. I made a mistake one time saying, I'm running to McDonald's, anybody want anything?
Uh-oh.
I want 2 20 pieces. What? Bob, I don't have much money on me. And I'm buying for everybody else.
Yeah.
I bought him a 10, and I didn't get everybody else's stuff set out. He already inhaled the whole box.
Right.
I'm like, Jesus, my hand back.
Yeah, it was a McDonald's vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. You know, just had too much fun.
Loved him, I hated him, loved him like a brother.
A bunch of us at various times had cars out the pasture at a PL's place, you know. I had this old Dart and an old satellite out there. I get the steering wheel out of the satellite, so I'm out there with my steering wheel puller and everything. I knew Booker and PL were up at the shop, and so I'm sitting there just, you know, I'm all in the zone. I'm pulling this wheel, and both PL and Book knew that I hate snakes, and I still hate snakes to this day. Yeah, oh. And so I've got this wheel, and as soon as I got this thing off, here comes this rubber snake flying across my face. And he goes, snake! Ah! And the steering wheel and all the shit went everywhere, you know. And I'm like, Booker, you bastard! He goes, I'll get you, boy, I'll get you. And PL did the same thing to me. I was under a Dart, I was pulling an axle out of the Dart. He comes up with that same rubber snake one day. Tosses it under and it has this little rattle. I flew out. I don't think I touched it. I laid flat on my back, feet out. I don't think I touched the ground coming out. Right. And he scared the crap out of me too. So those are the 2 passion stories, one with PL and one with Booker. Yeah, Booker's one of the first guys in our Mopar club. Me and a couple other guys we actually started it. Bob was one of the guys, and you know, several of us here actually. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, or bad. And so, but anyway, you know, it's just kind of neat, you know, because I never knew he was younger than me. I'm 59. I didn't know he was younger than me. I thought he was like 3 or 4 years older. He's got an old parts at heart, you know.
There you go.
But yeah, good guy.
When PL and the other guy that was always out there, Donald.
Yeah, Donald Bynum. Yeah.
They were going to go underneath there and they were going to weld something. And he's down there making fun of him because PL's trying to weld, Don's trying to hold the light so he can see what the hell's welding. And Rob reached over there and unplugged him. And Don just doing it, and he's sitting outside just tackling his ass off. And finally unplugged it and walked off. Now you hear him, Bugger, you son of a bitch. I think he threw something at him, and for him, he hauled ass.
Right.
But it was, he just had too much fun down there.
Bobby had the wonderful extinction. You guys, you know, we're in a cramped room with him here and everything. Bob was stuck with him in the cab of the truck for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we drove the equipment van for the Del City band down to Disney World. Being booked.
Sorry, back to bad luck, buddy. Better you than me.
But we did go to Don Garland's place and see all the stuff. Museum.
Bobby called me when they got back. He goes, what are you doing? Oh, I don't know. You guys back? Yeah. And I'm going to kill him.
Well, I'm sorry, when he was driving, I couldn't sleep. I was supposed to be sleeping, but it was like, every time it would bounce, I was back in the back with the equipment, you know, trying to stretch out. And it bounced like this, or it'd go like this. It's like, what's going on, bud? I couldn't
Just
sleep.
sleeping.
Yeah, you look up there, and it's quiet. You look up, it's like this.
Yeah, he's sleeping. Ow! Yeah, it's like, so I did most of the driving. I ended up doing most of the driving just because I said, look, I can't sleep, just let me drive. Yeah.
I learned that when we went to Pink and back one time. And I'll drive. We're driving along. That's cool. No problem. I look over there and he's like,
yeah.
Gosh, well, I'm driving.
I learned a long time ago, he drove me one time, one place. It wasn't like, so we're in Midwest City. I never driving my car again. Then on, anytime we went anywhere, I drove. Face it, he was not that great a driver.
Bill.
Orange Crush proves that.
He did it once really well.
Yeah, that was when that invisible car came out of nowhere and hit him and left.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was
Which
what
one?
he said happened.
Which one?
You did a test, Bobby, when he had the purple Cuda.
Yeah.
He was driving at his best because the heat from the engine and exhaust would devastate him.
Right. Yeah. Gas
The heater did not work.
Bill.
He was on his toes when he was driving.
Literally.
Literally.
Because the floorboard was gone.
Right. That was the one that didn't have forward. Yeah, Rust Bucket. That was the name of that car.
Hey, Bill.
Rust Bucket Cuda.
Bill, when we brought the stuff around the trip, was he, when I used the cop car, was he riding with me or was that Gary? When we were pulling you? Gary, okay. I think Bob was waiting on us.
What did the purple Cuda that had the bomb sight forward? You lift up the floor, drop your beer bottle out the bottom.
Well, yeah, that's it.
That's
That's
Rust Bucket Cuda.
That's what I thought.
That's where he got the habit of, every car he had, whether it was rusty or not, was Rust Bucket.
Yep.
Like, I remember getting in that car one time. The only time I rode with him, I put my foot to the floor.
Yeah, you
What
you
the
have to put your
hell
foot
is
up
this,
around
dude?
or
You
side
gotta be
to
up on
the
the
side.
board, you gotta be up on the
Yep,
front.
exactly.
Yep.
A lot of them didn't exist.
No.
Yeah, no.
What's that for? Ventilation!
Ventilation.
But I mean, he was just heavy. You get in a car, you put your feet on the floor, and you just walk right on through.
Sheriff had to start.
Yeah, that's true.
You had to cross
my
every
luck.
car, that's what kept your ass up off the ground. That was the only thing that kept you up off the ground.
That car had to come from Duluth or somewhere. There's no car can rust that bad.
Give it to Booker for about 2 weeks, he'll have it.
He'll have it
It'll start rusting up. But yeah.
His dad actually took that car in on a trade on his used car lot.
I was wondering.
Is that right?
It's how he got the purple Cuda.
That's right.
Some guy come in there and traded that for a 1976 Chevrolet Caprice, straight across. And Booker said, at the time, he said he was 15 years old. He told his dad, he said, "You keep that car." He said, "I don't care what." He said, "I'll mow lawns for the rest of my life. Anything. You keep that car." When I turned 16, that's going to be my first car.
Yep.
And it was.
He had
Well, his second car. His first one was that Chevrolet.
Right.
It didn't last very long. But,
That's good.
and his dad sold that car one time, and Booker was devastated for about 2 weeks till they went and repossessed it.
He was happy camper after that.
And then after that,
Well, Bob and I bought that 55 Plymouth. Didn't have brakes on, but it ran good.
Right.
We got it, bought it in Norman and took it over to the car lot. And we were working on it every other night, right? Well, Bob comes in, looking around. Where did Plymouth go? Oh, I stole that piece of shit. Dad, that was mine and Jeff's. We got brake parts coming. Well, fuck, it's gone. I don't care. Shit! Well, he was mad at his dad for about a month.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. He says, "We were gonna drive that. We've been driving it around here. Just gotta, you just put out the put out the door and stop." Because the park brake didn't really work.
Right.
And it had zip on the mattress on. Yeah, we ordered parts in, and he's just like, "Man."
Bonnie, surely you have an interesting.
Sort of. I mean, I can tell you, like, working here, and Bob started, had to teach him how to file. But he had great patience. He took it all just in stride, and just at his own speed. Cared about everything. And when we got the dog, Otis, of course, everybody knows who he is. But he would take Otis out to go potty and walk him, and I was going to teach him some dog walking. But he was so proud when Otis finally figured out how to lift his legs. Sit here, Otis, a puppy was like this big. He's like, you know how. It's hard.
Yep.
Not sure what Booker did. Probably didn't care. He did that like.
He probably got him and said, "All right, here's how you do this, dog."
He would take him around and walk him all around. He had great patience. He really did. Like I said, he was very caring. he's loading a booker, and I'm like, what is his name? Robert? And he never did. Bob? Robert? It's like, and that stuck with me because that's my maiden name. Booker. I was like, Booker. Can't be that. You know? I always called him that anyway. He was a good guy. He really was. We'll be missed.
Oh yeah.
I think one of my biggest, as far as in the office, Staples drove him up the wall.
Yes.
Let me tell you, he would sit down and take all the, now the guys, you got to imagine, there's 10 people out on the floor turning in paperwork that's stapled.
Right.
And if it wasn't, that paper wasn't square, or there were too many staples, they're coming out, and he is straightening, he would set and flip it, and flip it, and flip it, and get it perfectly square, and staple it perfectly in the, I guarantee you, I've never seen anybody with a better filing system. And if you didn't file the way he filed and he got in that file, oh, you were in trouble, let me tell you. He'd rather you not touch them, and I'll give it to me and I'll do it. Because you are not, his files had to be pristine and accurate, every single one of them. And the guys, I think, realized that he was stapling and unstapling their paperwork, so they put 3 and 4 in there. They staple it all down the side.
Staple them right in the middle instead of the corner. Yes, we would.
He was dedicated to that.
On the bottom, just reach in the middle on the bottom.
But I tell you, I think he was pretty. There were so many customers that would enjoy calling and talking to Bob because Bob would talk shop with them. And they enjoyed that. And there's a lot of guys that miss being able to call up here and chat with him because he would sit and chat with them about whatever. And he actually has a customer that he went back and forth with about politics. Sent him a couple of cards in the mail. Jim and called each other Hillary all the time, and he was pretty sad. He was really sad to hear Bob because they had a great rapport. He had some really good distant friends with our customers.
When you talk to him on the phone, you talk to that person, not just a person on the other line. You're talking to a person. So I prefer to talk to somebody as they are.
Yeah.
You know, get something going with them, and that way you can understand stuff. You know, see what's in their head.
Pretty good at knowing what was going on.
Bobby, remember these?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he had one, and I had one like this. I still got mine. Somewhere in here, there's his.
Oh, I didn't put his hats out. I'm sorry.
There's when he and I went on the power tour in '99.
Right.
I got his hat, and one of that one from the submarine.
Oh, okay.
I've got that in there too. I'll go put that here. But yeah, I think his hat weighs about 4 ounces. He had like 15 metal. And they weren't the little bitty ones. These are the ones that weigh a lot. Yeah, we both had the same Charlemagne down here. A bunch of these other stuff. But he kept trying to steal my 426 one.
There you go.
And this is the wedge one, not the heavy.
Do you want one?
He kept trying to steal it.
Yeah. Well, he'd never do anything small. So if he got into doing something, he would go all the way that he could do it. And that's just like before he knew me and my son and stuff. I was into collecting Beatles and stuff like that, records and stuff like that. He wasn't really into collecting stuff. Then he got into it, and it was like he viewed it as a competition. He said, "I found this butcher block, and I'm going to buy it." You know, well, okay, go ahead, you know. But he was like, you know, I got to get in this too, so. And you give an assignment like the car club. I said, we need these flyers. I'd like to do this with these flyers. No problem. He'd sit over there and do it, not argue about it, because it's something menial, you know, or anything. He'd do his best for it.
He just too much fun.
Yeah.
Bill?
On some of his hidden stuff, I was hoping I could find you. So
You said nope.
One of the calendars, another one that was, they had signed them.
Right. Oh, cool.
You probably know it when I show it to you. I'll show it to you. I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay.
There's
You were one of the happiest happiest day of his life was when he got the word. We'd always heard about this Hemi Cuda. It was somewhere out around Hera,
That one right there.
Yeah, it always been a folklore. There's a Hemi Cuda out around here that only has 5.6 miles.
Oh, good.
Nah, and he got a call one day. Actually, Scott Lindsay called me. He goes, the guy that owns that Cuda called me, and he said, I'm not in a position where I can buy it. I know you're into Cudas. What do you think? Happiest day of his life. He called everybody he could think of to buy that Hemi Cuda. We're like, what? That rumor that we've been hearing? No, it's real. It's real. So we load up in the car and go out there, and sure enough, they're sitting in this guy's field right behind his fence is that 1971 Hemi Cuda body. It doesn't have a mark on it. It looks like, other than being faded, it looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. He pawned everything he could pawn, borrowed every dime he could borrow, bought it. That one picture was taken the day we hauled it to his house.
Got him about him.
And well, we had big plans for that one, just never did work out. Sold it to a guy, it's up in Canada now, it's completely all together.
Who was the drag racer?
That car was his name.
It was one of Don Grover's cars.
He took the car, the engine drivetrain out to get into the drag car. That's why
Don Grover was sponsored by Gale Cable Chrysler Plymouth.
Gale Cable.
He was a factory racer, but he was also sponsored by Gale Cable. And so for the 1971 season, they had that car shipped into the dealership. They pulled the engine, transmission, and rear end out of it. The rest of the car went, they took it apart, put it in the parts room, seats, everything else. This kid that worked there, he goes, I'd like to buy that body if it's for sale. Yeah, it was $250 for it. You can haul it out of here. That car to this, when I did all the research on that car, it took me about a year's worth of research, including interviewing people from Gale Cable to Don Grover. Everybody had fond memories of it. And we got ready to start thinking about putting it back together. I called Barrett Jackson Auctions. And I said, here's what we got. It's not there right now, but here's what we got. If it gets all together. Named him off the car, told him all the provenance I had for it and everything. He said, I have no problem running that car across the Scottsdale auction for $1 million. And I said, happiest day of his life when he bought it, and probably second saddest day of his life when he had to sell it.
Yep. You know what the thing about it is? Out there at the house right now, I still got parts of it.
Oh, really?
He put in a wooden box, a wiring harness, and a whole bunch of stuff, gills, little shells, and two brand new taillights.
Oh,
And one of them in the box, the taillight, one of them had something drop on the red side. It's got with grills on it and everything. Have that stashed out there. It's just in some of the stuff I have found that they haven't, where he was at, people can get to me pretty bad. Yeah, they've been getting to it pretty bad, but I'm doing my best to help out some. So I'm good there.
Anybody work stories?
As I said, we didn't know too much about his work life.
Right.
I'd come up here and visit him a couple of times. Like he's talking about, listening to him talking to somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It floored me the day I'm standing up here in the office and I'm like, okay, it's Booker. But I'm listening to him talking to people and I'm like, I kind of look over at him and go, where have you been all these years? This is not Booker.
It's not the version we know.
Yeah.
It's inside Booker
Read
here.
all the trade magazines and the shows, and Gary was very knowledgeable.
Booker 2.0, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Version 2.0. He was very dedicated to it.
Yes. That's the deal. If he wanted to,
If you wanted to,
But
suck it up.
I'm recording. That was her phone went off. It keeps going in and out, so.
Yeah,
story of an elephant. He wanted to know about it.
Yeah.
And if he didn't care, it didn't matter.
You could teach him 100 times to do something. If he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't want to.
Yeah. He was our clutch spring guru up here, man. Yes, he would sit for days on end, measuring them springs, writing down on a piece of paper and separating them things out and getting them within just a couple of thou of each other. Man,
He definitely had the OCD.
he had that. He had
Back in the day,
it.
all the way.
We used to tease him, walk by, kind of bump his table. Don't you dare do that! Boy, he'd get mad. We'd be like, come down, Bobby, with an IE. We call him Bobby with an IE, and boy, he just hated that.
Yes,
Yeah, he was just a lot of fun to be around and talk to and get irritated at. Like I said, you always loved him, no matter what. He was just as lovable as he could be.
You love him, half the time you want to strangle him, but you love him.
Yeah,
well, that's it.
If he could do something for you, he would do it in a heartbeat.
That's it. Yeah.
You call him up and say, I need some coffee. Where you at? He would find some way to get there somehow or another. He may not be able to do anything but stand there and look at you, but you work there by yourself.
His cats, boy, yeah, we forced a couple on him. I don't need no more. So I brought them anyway, because I didn't need them either. Kittens, having kittens, stray cat come up. Had a litter of kittens. Couldn't even get that cat to the vet quick enough to get it spayed. He had another litter of kittens. But we told him, you're taking them. I don't care. You got to take them. A week later, thank you so much. Boy. I love them to death,
Well, those are his babies.
Yeah.
They're his babies.
They were his babies.
Where he got the love of cats, because he'd always been a dog guy.
He
I think he got tired of that echoing noise on those damn bastards were making.
he got
That's
in
another
on that
thing you can thank
blind
me for.
cat ready.
Yeah, they got from me.
Yeah. Ringo? Yeah, Ringo, yeah.
His name on his papers was Richard B. Starkey. But he was Ringo.
That dog didn't care as long as you paid him and feed him something. Okay.
Talk about how determined he was on things. He'd get something in his mind, and that was the way it was going to be. Whether it was learning a new skill or something, and he was going to learn it 100%, or he had an idea of what something he wanted to do. And for a case in point, they all went to the movies one night, and I forget what movie it is they wanted to see, but he wanted to see Space Camp for the 15th or 20th time. And so, after much, you're going to go see it, but you're paying for it. Fine, whatever. So they all go into the movie. He goes in like he's going to see Space Camp. They get done with their movie, come out, Booker's sitting there in the parking lot in his car. He rode over there with them. He walked from the Heritage Park Cinema to Del City, 7.6 miles. Got his car. Instead of just going on home, he drove back up to the movie theater, waited for them to come out, just to make a point.
Yeah.
He can do that. If he's going to make a point, he's going to make a point.
You can't be mad at him at that point. You just go,
What the hell were you thinking?
okay. And he wore that story like a badge of honor the rest of his life.
Yeah, he is.
He'd love anytime anybody told that story. Yeah, I get that. Yep.
What do you ever do that little dude's pickup? 70 Dodge dude.
One of the ones that got stolen.
Is it really?
Wow. We lost a lot of shit out there. I lost 12 or 13 of them.
Yeah, all of his A100s were
Yeah, he had
gone.
Yeah, I remember a couple.
They were all they're gone.
I told Mikey, he and Mikey were coming to an agreement, right?
Right.
I said, Mike, just tell him you're just going to fix them and drive it. And of course, Mikey's just, Mikey tell you about it, and he goes, well, I've driven for a while, but then I got this big block Chevrolet. I'm like, No, we was gonna sit there and ride. And it sat there and rotted until it got stolen. Because it just wouldn't let it happen. You ain't getting that car.
I think a lot of those cars, I looked at one time, like I said, when I was trying to research what all happened and everything. I had one picture that I could pull up. It only showed up one time on Google Earth, not even Google Maps. Google Earth, there's a picture, you can see there's tire tracks all around in the field out there, out front, and there's portable crushers. And so I think that's what happened is they drug one up and just started loading stuff in it.
What
happened to
the, was it Model A or something that was sitting over there?
Oh, the Model A, that was the first one. The guy that used to own the wrecker, that was the first one that he stole it. PL didn't even know it was gone until we were walking down there and walking down the driveway there one day. PL stops and goes, "One of those Pops' car." He goes, "Oh, I'll hold that off." That was the end of him.
Yeah, that was 68.
No, that was
the
the Model A.
The Model A belonged to Jerry Wayne.
Or Jerry Wayne.
Yeah.
But PL always called it Pops' car for some reason. But yeah, he said, "Where's Pops' car?" And so that's when that guy got run off. After come to find out he'd hauled off 3 or 4 people's cars that PL didn't own.
Yep.
But PL was always great about letting anybody store anything out there, especially if it was Mopar.
Well, when we went and did our fairground experience, that satellite that I had that 67 Ford Chamber 3.
Yes.
You
Had
can
it
sit down.
full, and
Huh?
so we got out and sent out there, and all this stuff started disappearing. And somebody, I just bought this Ford Chamber 3. Yeah. If I had the numbers on it, I said, okay, I need to send somebody over here to do this was right here, here's a picture of it, here's the numbers, see this stuff. But we lost it. It's just part of life.
Oh, yeah.
Model collection.
As with anybody else's past, I always thought it had more time.
Yeah.
We kind of lost touch the last 6 or 8 months. I didn't even know that he'd moved. I knew that it was in the cards, but I didn't know that it had.
Yeah, we got moved out in February.
And
He went over to his friend Rodney.
yeah,
That he did the Star Trek stuff with.
And you're going to have to tell me what all's gone down on everything, because I don't know. And
Well, I'll get with you.
yeah,
They
like I said,
2 years ago they'd gone over there and they saw, because he used to go to the Star Trek convention.
yeah.
He's got the Commander Chakotay tattoo on his forehead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a Star Trek guy. Great guy. But he and his wife said, "No, you can come stay with us when it's cold. You stay over here." Well, off and on for a couple of years he was over there. Then he was going to move with Rodney's brother Chad. They got a place getting over there in Hollywood.
Okay.
And as he was getting sicker and sicker, people I know were hearing rumors of a lot of this collectible stuff started showing up. People they know that did him. Bob, the one thing he never did was write down what he had.
So they made him just stand by the doors, the sliding doors, and that's how he stood, just like that, through the whole skit, didn't say a word.
And he was happy.
But he was happy as a lark, because he was in it.
Yep.
And we made sure that he was a red shirt, because you know what happens to people in red shirts in Star Trek.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah, so we made sure he was going to be a red shirt.
There's actually a Facebook site, Red Shirts Must Die.
Oh, there you go. See? Star Trek. It was he said, because I went to go see the first Star Trek movie with my dad, and that's a memory that I'll always treasure. I don't want to. Okay, there's logic there somewhere.
Spock's unavailable.
Available this time, but if that's what you feel.
That's Bob Logic.
It's Booker Logic. That is Booker Logic. Booker Logic was It's hard to decipher.
Alright, sometimes you just kind
You
of
get sleepy and relax.
get going.
You just shake your head.
Back, I've been doing all day.
It's like back in the day, we all told him not to get married.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see.
Did he listen? No. Well, how that turned out.
Yeah, it did.
Who paid the ticket?
Yeah, but they wouldn't let the truck.
I almost bought it.
She gave it to me, and I'm like, here, cheers, Bob. It needs front end fixed. I get it to the house. We'll do it. She said, well, did you do it with the truck? Yeah. What did you do with it? I gave it to Bob.
Yeah, there's only one person that had the worst taste in vehicles than Booker, and it was me.
I don't know.
Because some of the ones I bought over the years, the best one was the '66 Corvette that made it almost home from the auction. The motor seized up about 2 blocks from the driveway. $35 at Tompkins. Drove it home. They said it made it about 2 blocks from the pit.
Whoa! You know what? Booker had the magical talent of finding the only rusted cars in Oklahoma.
Yes.
I think so,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, this is
most
not a
of them are
rusty
really
state.
rust.
This is not a rusty state. He come in with something that looks like it comes from northern Minnesota under 5 feet of water. You know?
JJ, what was that? Was that a 65 that I bought from you?
Oh, yeah, the Corvette?
Yeah. Ended up out there at the pit, and then it got traded or something. I don't know, whatever.
A red 65 4-door.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks after you sold it, I found that one 2-door, 273 one sitting up by Wellston that didn't have a front clip on it. But that car had a perfect front clip. We were going to Tulsa, and I looked over at you and go, "Oh, to keep the grass." You said something like, "You sold it." Of course, I can't still to this day, and this is your fault. Because I wanted a 66 just like yours, and I wanted a ragtop. So what do? I trade the Charger for the shell of a ragtop 66.
I know.
I still have
One of the better deals I did.
Yeah. You have tried to do a great job lately.
Actually, I had it out at
Not 4 o'clock yet. That's not allowed some 4.
Are you turning that kind of work over to other people?
so the Imperial at the time.
Since Bob doesn't have the parts book to bring
Yeah,
over
yeah.
anymore.
Actually, I've got a lot of that.
Get all of it now.
Well, no, I bought a 66 Imperial brake top about 6 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Same colors as Corvette, 6 days apart.
Really? Wow. Yeah, I'd always loved Pat's Corvette. It's just that kind of shade of yellow. It's not bright yellow.
It's not tan.
It's not tan. It's somewhere in between, but it's such a
yellow
clean car and everything. So Jeff ended up with that. I said, I'm going to have me one. Well, what do you want for it? I don't know, what do you want for your Charger? Tell you what, I'll make you a hell of a deal.
There you go. Put a lot of miles in that blue car. I put a lot of miles in that blue car.
You put a lot of miles on it, and then Kerry raced it for how long?
I pulled the engine out of the car.
Yeah.
5 miles shy of 100,000 on it. I put over 550 runs at the track on it.
Right.
Here and up in Park City and like that. And then the guys kept bugging me because I had a dark light. I sold it to Kerry Grigmore's little brother. And they put one of my 360s down in it. And he's going to beat the Charger, right? Well, she was getting pretty tired. You know, at the far end of the track, you get out, and nobody looking, you wipe the oil off the windshield because it's outside.
Yeah.
So I always bug about, just all motor, right? Well, Mike Bassett gave me a nice. I put it in the trunk. All set up. And they didn't know it, so I went out there. Let it get right up even, I pushed the button. I got back, pretty soon the whole person came on. Yeah, okay, you're tired. Pulled it out, Alan ended up with it, put a 400 in it. There.
Drove it for a while with 400 in it.
Yep.
I'll never forget. I don't remember whether you called me or what, but Alan got a hold of me and he goes, "Hey, I got your charger." What? You've got what?
How did you pry out of his own video?
Yeah, that's what I said. How the hell did you get? He goes, "Oh, I bought it, Jeff." Okay. Well, that's all we are doing is traded that poor
We traded so
car.
much shit back before we didn't know who owned
Traded
what.
that poor car. Nobody knew who owned what. I said, "I'll be over there tomorrow," and I went over the next day, and you know, it's like seeing your kid after he's been in college for 4 years. Memories just start flooding back. Wow. And I finally got up enough nerve. I said, "What do you want?" He told me what he wanted for it. I never even batted an eye. I said, "I'll see you tomorrow at your bank." Borrowed $900. Bought it back from him, drove it home, and the first person I called was Booker. I said, "You are not going to believe what is sitting in my driveway." What? I said, "A blue 1976 Dodge Charger. Fucked up racing stripe on it." And we both just
Is that the one
screamed.
with the Daytona Charger stripe on it?
No, that's the one that I painted the flat black RT stripes
Oh,
on.
God, yeah, I remember that one.
We were getting pretty good at doing those over Bobby's driveway.
Yeah.
I was, well,
That's
not on
okay.
that one. We did, what's the one that we painted over there? It wasn't the blue car, it was something else.
I'm trying to think, we did some stuff over there.
And the billboards looked correct.
Yeah.
Bobby was laying them out, and I'm over there just real gentle, laying the paint in there with it. Yep.
Looked good.
Yeah, when that blue car showed up on Craigslist,
Oh, factory big block.
Charger RT 75, and I call it
75
RT.
Yeah, it's a new one. It's a 76. It's a 318 car. It had 273 Dana, old style Dana rear. Automatic. The only thing the car had going for it from the factory, whoever had bought that car, I was the second owner on that car. And whoever had spec'd it, they wanted the console shift. For some reason, Chrysler still had some old slapsticks left in the parts bin. And one of them just happened to get put in that car. It's not on the build sheet anywhere of that car. It's not on the fender tag, but that car has slapstick in it.
Damn handy, too.
And there's only one race I ever lost in that car.
Yeah, we know.
Green weenie.
Yeah.
The tuna boat.
Green weenie.
Yeah, the tuna boat.
Would we be okay if Marcus said a prayer?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah?
Please do.
Say a prayer and close it up.
Yep.
We come to you in the name of Jesus. Lord God, we want to thank you for the memories. We want to thank you for the life, for life is precious, personality, of a good friend. For the Bible say in 2 Corinthians 5:8, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So we pray that that good friend is with you right now. And we just thank you, though, for his life. And we thank you for the life you've given us, the time you've given us to know him, to share with him, Lord God. We just honor you. We bless your name. We know he's in good hands. You know, we just know that he's all right. So we're not going to be sad. We're going to rejoice. So that's what we do. When one goes home to be with you, we rejoice and give you the praise. We give you all the glory and honor. In the mighty name of